There are many different species of bird living here in the UK that can be found in a wide variety of sizes and colours. There are many common ones and some not so common ones. Some are very widespread, whereas others can only be found in certain areas of the UK. Some live here all year round and others only visit at certain times of the year. But from your windows at home, how many different birds do you actually see on a single given day?
Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. So I have compiled a list of 18 birds that I can and have seen from my house in the past. Starting with your dead certs at the top, like pigeons and starlings and magpies, down to some more rarer ones, but I'd love to get footage of them, so we shall see. I'm going to stick my neck on the line and go for a solid 10 off this list. I think I can get definitely 10. So yeah, stick my neck on the line. Now there are a couple of rules. Rule number one is I can only count birds that I can see within the 360-degree radius of my house. And they're only documented and count with video evidence. And that video evidence has to come from my devices. So no stock footage like you saw in the intro of this video. I have to record them from this point going forward. So I'm actually going to apologise in advance for any ropey footage you might see. Some will be easier than others, like I have feeders that I can put cameras on so they can be seen. I do have my binocular to help me out. So that said, 10 solid birds, maybe the 18. Let's go, one day.
Now the quickest way to tick a load of easy birds off the list is to get a load of food outside. And as you can see here, before I've even put the food out, I've already struck the starlings off the list. Love them or hate them though, starlings are actually a really pretty bird and I do like their mischievousness. Now I don't know how well you can see this, but at the very beginning of this clip there is actually a pair of blue tits and a pair of great tits that fly out the tree. Now I'm not chalking them off my list because I can't class that as footage. I can count this guy though, the magpie, probably my most common garden bird. And shortly afterwards, the big fat wood pigeon. The front garden wouldn't be the front garden without the wood pigeons. A couple of female and a male house sparrow were next up to the feeders before they were rudely interrupted by the starlings. The house sparrows are actually the UK's most common garden bird.
It's going alright, I'm ticking them off one by one. It's gone quiet out the front though because there's two blokes out there doing tree surgery and their shredder is making a right racket. So I've come out the back where a couple of tail enders of my list have shown their faces in the shape of two red kites and two buzzards, all of which are way up there out of my camera capabilities. So I've got some chicken, chucked it on the roof, I'm going to set some cameras up, fingers crossed red kites might come down. Although the sky is full of herring gulls, so I'm going to chalk them off because they are literally everywhere every single day. First light in the morning, it sounds like I'm waking up in Blackpool. So get some chicken up there, get the cameras on, fingers crossed for some tail ender action. Yeah.
Yep, the herring gull, the dustbin of the sky, ticked off the list. Now I'm dropping this footage of the red kite in just so that I can remove it from my list, but I'm hoping the chicken that I've put out on top of the roof will lead to better footage. Meanwhile, out the front of the house, a pair of carrion crows showed up. I have two pairs of carrion crows nesting in the trees outside the front of my house, and they are very territorial, seeing off any other birds they don't like the look of. Then a pair of collared doves turned up. Now I have collared doves on my list, but as you can see they're way down near the bottom because I wasn't expecting to see them on any given day because they aren't that common in the garden. So I'm really happy they showed up today, but what happened next I am not happy about at all.
I am so upset with myself because after filming the collared doves on the ground, a female house sparrow landed on the feeder, so I lifted the phone up on the binocular back up to the feeder, probably filmed it for about 30 seconds or so, and then stopped, took my phone, put it back on charge because, you know, battery's depleting quite a lot, came back to the window, sparrowhawk landed in the tree. Now, it was there long enough that I could have just moved this up and had sparrowhawk shot. That would have been epic. Note to self, just, you know, more cameras.
Bit later in the day to the party than expected, but a male blackbird showed up briefly. Not long afterwards, this lovely great tit stayed on the feeder for what seemed an eternity, just munching away, hopefully a future resident in one of my camera boxes. And not long after he left, his little cousin, the blue tit, turned up for his feed. Time is slowly ticking away, but so are the birds on my list. You know, it's problems like these that I have to overcome to get my footage, you know. Still no takers for the chicken out the back, just out of focus flybys. But whilst I was out there, I heard a familiar noise coming from the buddleia bush. The good old little Dunnock. Wasn't sure I was going to scratch him off the list today, so happy Ben. You help yourself to as much as you like, mate, although you are busy building your nest, so I'll let you off. Another one that was a very late show in the day, my favourite, and probably everyone's favourite, the robin. I wasn't sure you were going to make the list. With the evening light now at an almost unfilmable level, I think it's time to call it a day. There's been some near misses in there, there's been some misses, some that were more painful than others, but all in all I think it was a very productive bird spotting day. But how did I get on? What was the final tally?
Okay, we're actually a whole week further on from making the video because I had to down tools that day and go and pick up yet another Peugeot 207 Coupe convertible. This is a GT model. Yep, another hairdresser's car just in time for the summer because I can legally drive again. So anyway, going back to the matter in hand, the birds. So how many did I get? This is my list, which I'm going to leave up here. And starting from the very beginning, I've put them in what I believe was an order of how easy to hard they would be to see. Apart from robin, I don't know why I stuck robin in the middle because it's usually somewhere near the top. So anyway, right at the top, pigeons, wood pigeons. There's lots of them. I've actually put food out this morning and counted 15 wood pigeons on the lawn. So pigeon was a dead cert straight away, along with magpies. Magpies, there's a guy who lives behind me who feeds his birds, and at any point in any time I look out, there's at least 5 to 10 magpies sitting on his house roof. They are everywhere around here. Same as the starlings. Starlings ticked off the list, not a problem. Herring gull, like I said, there is loads of herring gulls around here. I said it earlier in the video, they are so loud it does actually sound like you're waking up at the seaside pretty much every single day. And amongst them, I've actually ticked it, but I didn't obviously get any footage, so it doesn't count. The black-headed gulls, now they just fly around, and amongst the herring gulls, they are smaller, so you can spot them, but I didn't actually get any footage, so doesn't count off the list. Carrion crows, now I wanted to get better footage, apart from the one little shot I did, because they do come and visit the lawn, and they did come and visit the lawn, but they didn't on that day. But like I said, there's 2 pairs that are nesting in the trees out the front, and they are so territorial, they really are. They'll just be sitting there minding their own business, and they'll be like, no, don't like them pigeons. Off they come down. And the red kites, they don't like the red kites at all. As soon as the red kite comes anywhere near, especially when they start nesting, which they are starting to now, they'll just see red kites off as soon as they appear. So yeah, carrion crow. House sparrow. Now house sparrow is so far down my list, even though it is the UK's most common garden bird, it's not actually high on my list because there are abundance of them out there now feeding, even right now, but they are hit and miss. They could be here one week and then not here the next week. So the day I filmed it last Sunday, they may not have been there, so that's why they're so far down the list, but they happen to be there. So house sparrows, blue tits, guaranteed, always get blue tits. Didn't get footage on the near feeders, which I thought I would with the blue tits, but I did. And then along comes the great tits as well, because they're usually come together sort of, even though they're like just cousins, but they do just tend to come together. Blackbird, didn't get much footage of the blackbird, didn't appear, only one male, didn't see any females, just the one male, but yeah, off the list. Now robin, I didn't think I was going to see a robin, because usually the feeders at the window and the mealworms in the window feeder, they're always there. They've been there all morning this morning, but for that day they were camera shy, but luckily one did turn up later in the day to tick off the robin. Dunnock, now Dunnock is way down because I do see a Dunnock out the front, never seen one out the back, so it's quite surprising when I went out and I heard it in the buddleia bush. So that got ticked off the list, and then it flew up to the house. Jackdaw, ticked it, obviously not crossed it off because I didn't actually film it. Just one lone jackdaw just flew across the sky. Very distinctive noise, jackdaws make, but obviously couldn't tick it off the list. Red kite. Now I really wanted better footage of the red kite, and I did think the chicken on the shed was going to give me the footage I wanted, but it didn't. But there are a pair of red kites that are pretty much seen every single day. Sometimes they're too high, sometimes they're quite low. They're in and out. There's a bloke over there that does feed, and I do see them coming down to his house. But that said though, where I went 35 minutes up the road to Corby to go and buy that car, they are in their hundreds of red kites up there, absolutely hundreds. One garden, we drove down one street, and one garden, they were feeding the red kites, and they were coming down and swooping in and out the garden. There must have been 20 plus red kites just circling that one house. So I suppose we're quite lucky, because that'd be quite scary. Buzzard, obviously ticked it, saw it, too far away, couldn't knock it off the list. Then the collared doves, second to last. Again, they're way down there because they are a regular visitor. There is a pair that live around here, but they're not, again, in the garden all the time. You might only see them maybe once a week. So luckily that day they were there, which then leads me to the sparrowhawk at the bottom, which it really upset me, because if I'd have just kept my phone on the monocular for probably about 30 seconds after finishing filming the collared doves, that's when it swooped in, sat in a tree for probably about a minute and just went, what? And then flew off. So really gutted. Circled goldfinch, because the goldfinch is actually the only bird out of the 18 on this list that I didn't see. And obviously I didn't film it because I didn't see it. I did take the girls for a walk up to the shop, and there was actually a load of goldfinches flitting around the trees in the next street, but that day they didn't come and visit my garden, which was, I gutted because I like goldfinches. And then on the other side of the list over here, wren I've starred, because I don't really have wrens around here at all, but one just appeared. I see it fly across the road into a rose bush and then disappeared into the bushes underneath the cherry blossom tree. So I tried my hardest to get the camera set to try and film it, just didn't happen. So anyway, how well did I do? So that pigeon, starling, magpie, herring gull, carrion crow, house sparrow, blackbird, great tit, robin, dunnock, red kite, collared dove, 13. That's not bad, because I did say a solid 10 out of the 18 off the list. So getting 13 was pretty good indeed. But I want to, I mean, if you like this kind of concept, let me know, because I might do this again, but up where I'm working in York, because the birds are really different up there. Like every single day I will see kestrel, tawny owl, barn owls, there's redwings, there's fieldfares, there's bullfinches, chaffinches, and what I think is actually yellowhammers. I've caught them 3 or 4 times. I did actually film it, but I think I've deleted the footage somewhere because I don't know where it is. But I'm pretty sure it might be siskins, but I'm settling on yellowhammers, which would be really nice because they are actually on the UK Conservation Concern Red List because their numbers are declining. So I may do this up there where I'm working. So thanks for watching this video. If you did like it, go down there, give it a thumbs up, tells YouTube it was a good video. And whilst you're there, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.